Got something a little bit different for you today. This is actually an interview from over a year ago. It was a really special day for me. I got to go to Armstrong High School. The kids there wanted to interview me as a local YouTuber, and it was super fun. It was supposed to air on the school TV channel, and I've been waiting for a year for them to post it, but last time I talked to them, they had lost the original footage. And then I realized just a few days ago, I have that footage. They sent me the raw footage as well, so if they aren't going to post it, I'll just post it. It was a really fun interview, and it had the moment, actually, where I passed 1,000 subscribers. I went there with like 980 some subscribers, and they literally went from classroom to classroom while we were filming the interview so that I could hit 1,000 subscribers while they were interviewing me. It was really cool for me. I think it's really fun, and I hope you enjoy it.
Welcome to Education Today. I'm Stephen Thomas. To start today's show, we have a very special guest with us, the local YouTuber and State Farm agent, Andrew Ladisaw. Welcome to Education Today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
So when did you start making videos on YouTube?
Let's see. I started making videos just about a year and a half ago. I started just doing different church projects, actually. So we made videos just with my family on, it's called the Daniel Fast, and I made like 17 videos about that. And I actually used to make videos in high school, like you guys do, and that's where I began the whole journey. That's kind of where I got the bug, and then I didn't do it for many years, and then I finally got back into it. Then we started doing, we call it Summer Serve for our church. We had a service project every Saturday through the summer, and so last summer I started doing that for the very first time. And those videos really started to gain a lot of traction, and I just kept doing it. And then last year I started actually the vlog, which has been like 13 months ago now. So,
What made you decide to start your own channel and upload all the videos to YouTube?
yeah, so I moved to Kittanning like 7 years ago, and it's always bothered me really that people are really down on the city. People are very negative about Kittanning as a whole, and when I moved here, I just loved the city. I thought it was great. I thought it had so much enormous potential, and so I started thinking about how could I be a positive force in the community to kind of counteract the negative things that we hear all the time. And so I just came up with this tagline, Kittanning, greatest city in the world. It's just like, it's obnoxious. It doesn't make any sense for the most part because everyone knows that we're probably not the greatest city in the world. But at the same time, I wanted to be as obnoxiously positive as everyone else is obnoxiously negative. And so that's how I really got started. That's how I began making videos. So I just wanted to be a positive force to make an impact in the city.
What would you classify the genre of your videos as?
Oh man, that's a tough question. If you look at YouTube in general, I think most of the channels fall into whenever I talk to people your guys' age or people in high school, they're all watching gaming channels, or they're watching prank channels, or all the girls are watching like beauty videos. And so I don't really fall into any of those categories. I think that what I'm doing is fairly unique. I would classify it as hyper-local videos. I'm never going to be a Jake Paul or Logan Paul. I'm never going to have 75 million subscribers like PewDiePie because not that many people care about Kittanning. But I can have a great impact locally. And I think YouTube, as it moves forward, as it matures, I think you're going to find more and more people doing what I'm trying to do, and that's like stay hyper local, just try to make a local impact, not try to make a career out of it, but just try to make a positive impact with it.
Do you have any specific uploading schedule, and how often do you post?
So I have I've been trying to do a podcast weekly, so like an interview style show like what you guys are doing here. And then I also I do a live stream every Sunday night. That's my two things. And then that I'm always trying to do every week. Then I try to post during the week between 2 and 4 times. It's difficult because I work full time. I have 4 kids. I'm a pastor of a church. I'm involved in other community organizations. And so time is my big driver. So I try to get at least 2 uploads in other than those. And sometimes I get up to 4 or 5.
What do you stream on and use to stream?
I stream on my cell phone. It's iPhone SE. It's not even a new iPhone. It's an old junky iPhone because all my equipment, kind of my theory is that use whatever you're willing to destroy, because I put my equipment in dangerous situations. So I'm not afraid to like hold the camera out a car window or put it on the edge of a building, because if I drop it, it's okay. I'm willing to sacrifice the equipment in order to get the shot that I want to get. So I just go with cheap stuff.
Do you stream on Twitch or just on the YouTube site?
Yeah, no, I just stream on the YouTube site for now. I'm thinking about playing around with Facebook Live, but there's no young people on Facebook, it seems, so I don't really focus on that a whole lot. I'm focused mostly on YouTube, but I'd love to do Twitch. In fact, I have an empty part of my building where I'm trying to possibly build a Twitch studio, because I know there's a lot of local gamers that are looking for that kind of thing, and there's local gaming teams that I didn't even realize that was a thing, but they're around here and they're looking for places to record, and I'm thinking about building that actually in my office and then make it available really cheap to rent.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it would be cool.
Mm-hmm. What kind of equipment do you use to create your videos?
So I actually brought it all with me. I figured I'd just show you guys directly. So this is how I started. This is my old cell phone. This is an LG G5. It's probably, I don't know, 3-4 years old at this point. I also have, this is like a cheap version of a Joby GorillaPod tripod. I've probably been through 4 or 5 tripods because they break pretty easily. But these are only like $10 on Amazon. And so I started with just this, which costs you $10 to begin. And then I went to this setup. This is just called a 3-axis gimbal. And so you can see it kind of comes to life when you turn it on, and then everything is completely stabilized. And so if you're looking at doing videos on a more professional level, or I guess semi-professional, what I do I don't consider professional at all, but this will at least get you some stabilization, and this is really, really cheap. It just has 3 motors in here that keeps everything stable, and you can literally run down the street with this thing and it will not shake. And then the other big investment is the microphone. And so people always are wondering, like, people come up to me on the street and they like pet this thing. I don't know why, but they're obsessed with it. So you have the gimbal and the microphone. This is like a $200 setup on top of what you have for your phone. And actually, this is my second gimbal. I just got another one because they had them on Black Friday. They had them at Best Buy for $80. And so it's absurdly cheap. So this is actually a $140 setup now, and it's only going to get cheaper as time goes on. So that's what I use, man. And then just a regular laptop to edit with. Obviously, everything on YouTube is free, so it's not a costly setup at all.
What is your process for creating a video from start to finish, and how long does it usually take?
Yeah, so vlogging, as you guys probably know, is just taking a camera around with you on your day. So that really doesn't take a whole lot of extra time, especially as you get better at it. It's just setting up shots maybe takes an extra 10 to 15 minutes of my day. And then if I have a monologue where I'm speaking for 2 or 3 minutes in a row, it doesn't take a lot of time. I don't script out a lot of videos, except my Kittanning history videos. I've scripted those out. So I would say if it's just a vlog, it takes me maybe an extra 20 minutes to film it every day. If it's a scripted video, it's probably 3 or 4 hours. But then the editing is what kills me. The editing is between 2 to 4 hours. I'm getting faster at it as time goes on. Over 200 videos now that I've edited. So 2 to 4 hours to edit, and then the time afterwards is actually probably the most important part. So actually uploading to YouTube, putting tags in, descriptions in, making a thumbnail, all those kinds of things. That's another 1 to 2 hours after the fact. I also post all the videos on Facebook, I do things with Instagram and Twitter, and so it all combines. You can spend as much time on it as you want to, but I'd say at the very minimum, it's a probably 4-hour process.
What kind of software do you use to edit?
Cheap as possible, like everything else that I do. If you have a Windows computer, I just download an old version of Windows Movie Maker, and if you have an Apple computer, just download, or you already have iMovie on it, I'd just use that to start. That's where I'm at. I used to use Premiere in high school. I'd love to have Premiere, but this is a hobby for me. I'm not making any money at it, so I try to keep my costs as low as possible.
What kind of opportunities has your YouTube channel made for you?
I don't know that it's made any specific opportunities, but what it does for me is it enhances everything that I am doing. Mm-hmm. So from a business perspective, I think people look at me that I'm trying to promote positivity in the community, and then people want to do business with me in turn. So that's really helpful. Same thing on the church side. If we're making videos for the church, it makes people want to connect to our church. And then any kind of business promotion, or like when we do Habitat for Humanity or any of the other organizations that I'm involved with, if I can make a video about an event or make a video about something specific that we're doing, then it just enhances our ability to reach more people and to do more things. So that's been the main driver. I think over time, actually, it is making more opportunity for me because I get to meet more people. Like, people want to be a part of the channel, people want to be a part of a video, or they want their business to be featured in it. And then I can, try to get gift cards from them to give away to my channel to, kind of grow what I'm doing as well. Yeah, and so we can kind of collaborate with local businesses and with different people in a way that I don't think has been really seen before. I think, YouTube collaborations normally would be like two big channels will collaborate so they can share subscribers. We're doing it on a hyper-local basis where I'm actually trying to drive real business to a pizza shop or to a restaurant. And in turn, those people they're driving subscribers back to me. And so it's not a traditional collaboration, but I think it's going to be the future of the way that we do business.
And how do you balance having your State Farm job and doing YouTube?
Yeah, not very well. You probably know already with even in high school, you're busy with different things, extracurriculars, and you have to go to school, you have homework, all that kind of stuff. Anytime that you're going to allocate 2 to 4 hours a day to something else is going to suffer. And so it's always a struggle for me to have family time, to get my actual work done, to make sure the church doesn't suffer, all the different things that I'm involved with. It's this balancing act. But it's really scheduling, I think, above everything else. And I'm sure you, even right now, like when you go home, if you're going to turn on YouTube or you're going to look at Instagram or you're going to be on Snapchat, you always probably say to yourself, okay, I'm gonna be on here for 15 minutes and I'm gonna try to get my homework done early. Yep. and I'm gonna really make that happen. And then the story, like it's an hour later, all of a sudden now it's dinner time, now everything else is stacking up on you, and pretty soon it's 10 o'clock at night and you didn't do your homework yet. That same thing happens to me, and sometimes I end up editing videos. I start editing at 11:30 and then I don't get to bed until 2 in the morning. And my whole next day is thrown off. And so it's just really trying to be diligent to make sure that doesn't happen on a daily basis. That's the fight.
Have you met any interesting people through YouTube?
Yeah, I meet you guys all for the first time today, so that's pretty cool. But that's been how it happens. And now it's getting big enough to where I'm really, really close to 1,000 subscribers. I'm at 986 as of the time when I came here today. And so you think Kittanning itself only has 4,000 people. The surrounding area has 20,000. So I actually have a really good market share as far as subscribers go. And so everywhere I go now, if I'm in Walmart, 1 out of every 20 people knows who I am through the videos. And I don't know that many people, and so it's been kind of surreal. Like I get to meet people wherever I go because they'll either yell out their car window, Kittanning's the greatest city in the world, or they'll be like, Andrew, I love your videos. And so it's like every time my family and I are out somewhere, people say hi to me, and it's like it's the coolest thing. I really love it.
Thank you very much for joining us today, Mr. Ladishaw. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with Armstrong School District's Education Today.
Awesome. Thank you. So this is normally the spot in the video where they would have a commercial break, but since I obviously don't have whatever commercial they were going to show, I just want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. I hit 1,000 a year ago. I'm almost to 1,900 now, so you could add one more, or you could share this with someone that you know. That'd be super amazing. Back to the interview.
We're back now with the local YouTuber and State Farm agent, Andrew Ladishaw. Where are you originally from, and what brought you to Kittanning?
So I'm originally from Minnesota. That's where I was born and raised. I went to high school in Perham, Minnesota. It's actually up by Fargo, North Dakota. And so I am not an original Pennsylvania person or Kittanning person. What brought me here originally is I wanted to go to college at University of Pittsburgh. So I did that when I turned 18. I came out, lived in Pittsburgh for a year with my aunt and uncle, and then I ended up in Greensburg and went to Pitt at Greensburg. And through that, I ended up working for a State Farm agent there. And then I came to Kittanning 7 years ago to start my own office. So that's how I got to Kittanning in the first place.
Do you watch any Minnesota sports teams?
Yeah, I'm actually still a Vikings fan, Twins fan, Not as much Minnesota Wild fan or Timberwolves. I'm not really into basketball, but I love University of Pittsburgh sports, and then I'm a big fan of Minnesota sports as well.
On your channel, you frequently refer to Kittanning as the greatest city in the world. What makes you so infatuated with the small town?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm from here originally, or I'm not from here originally, but I really, as soon as I came here, I just kind of fell in love with it. And the Kittanning greatest city in the world is not necessarily that I believe that we're the greatest city in the world, but it's more of this idea that wherever you live can be the greatest city in the world. And so just an overwhelmingly positive person. I just don't want to be negative about my life or about my city at all. And so when I see so much negativity around, that's what makes me want to just be that much more positive. I guess I'm always like, I feel like I've always lived with a chip on my shoulder. And I think Kittanning needs to kind of live that way too. Like we need to kind of force positivity a little bit until we can get the mindset of our community turned around. So that's kind of why I'm infatuated with it. Number two is just I fell in love with it. When we were looking at different places to start my office, I could have gone to Squirrel Hill or Kittanning. That was the two options that I had. And if you've ever been to Squirrel Hill, it's one of the richest areas in Pittsburgh, maybe the most prestigious place that you could live in all of Pittsburgh. And so in my mind, I was really convinced, like, I'm going to go to Squirrel Hill and I'm going to be a big shot in the city of Pittsburgh. And then as my wife and I prayed about it, we visited both cities. It was like from the very first moment we came to Kittanning, we just fell in love with it. Actually got engaged to my wife at Buttermilk Falls on that very trip coming to Kittanning. And it was like from that moment on, we just loved the area and we decided we wanted to raise our family here.
Even though you refer to Kittanning as the greatest city in the world, how do you try to make it better?
Yeah, so multiple ways. I mean, from the very first time that I came to Kittanning, I got involved right away with a local business group called Downtown Kittanning Incorporated. We ultimately wanted to get very involved with that from a business perspective. And then we got involved with Habitat for Humanity. And so I've been involved with both of those organizations for over 6 years now, trying to make events better for the city. And then through Habitat for Humanity, trying to make the residential areas better. A lot of people know that the housing market has struggled in Kittanning because a lot of times there's vacant houses, and so vacant houses, you don't want to live next to a vacant house because the windows start getting boarded out, or windows start getting knocked out and boarded up. You have people living there that shouldn't be living there, all of those different kinds of things. And so we're trying to change that as much as possible. And then through the church, when we started Summer of Serve, that was born out of the fact that when I was talking to the codes officer in Kittanning, I said, what are your greatest needs? What are the things that you guys struggle with? And one of the biggest ones was they couldn't get people to cut their yards. In these vacant houses, nobody was taking care of them. And so the grass would grow, up to waist height. And some of the ones that we've cut have been over head height. And then he also had a problem where if someone was disabled or elderly and they couldn't keep their house up, they were still being forced to write fines for those people. And so we had one situation where someone near our church, she had a garage that needed to be torn down, the roof was caved in, all those different kinds of things, and she wasn't able to do it. And so we came in as a church, the city lent us a truck, we tore down the garage for her, put it in the truck, and the city went and dumped it. And so it was like this nice collaboration between this resident who needed help, the city who needed a problem taken care of, and a church who had manpower and labor. And so that's kind of been my whole life in Kittanning so far, is just trying to come up with different ways that we can collaborate, to bring people together, to be able to do more as a group than we could do individually.
Where do you see Kittanning in 10 years?
So ideally, right? Because Kittanning, if we don't change our mindset, if we don't change the way that we do things, Kittanning's not going to be any different 10 years from now than it is right now. But what I believe is going to happen is we're all going to switch our mindset and we're going to be more positive about the future. That your generation 10 years from now is going to be the generation that's beginning to take over our city and to take all the leadership positions in our city. And that's when we're going to really start to move forward. So I think overall Kittanning needs to quit wishing for the manufacturing industries to come back, all those kinds of things. I don't think that's going to happen. Some of it might, but it's not going to happen downtown. It's not going to happen in PPG and Fort City like it did before. I just don't believe that that's going to be the case. I think the future of Kittanning is in tourism, and so you have to take advantage of the history of our area. There's a lot of really neat history that's happened here, and we need to be promoting that as much as possible. and then number two, the beauty and the natural resources that we have here. So things like the river and the trail. Definitely within the next few years, the trail is going to be completed from Pittsburgh to Erie. And so once that is done, Kittanning has an opportunity to be an actual tourist hub. Because if you're riding a bike from Pittsburgh to Erie, which people at that point, I believe we'll have millions of people that'll make that ride every year. The best stop between Pittsburgh and Erie, the very first stop on a day's trip is going to be right in Kittanning. And so there'll be an opportunity to have multiple hotels along the river to really try to make that economically vibrant, coffee shops, restaurants, all those kinds of things downtown. And we'll have a really vibrant area and a really nice place to raise a family, because you'll still be able to work in Pittsburgh here, and you'll be able to drive there with a short commute. So that's what I think that the future is going to be, is tourism-led, and then it'll be a bedroom community for the city of Pittsburgh.
How else do you involve yourself in the community other than your YouTube channel?
Just the things that I've already said, really trying to be involved as possible with DKI, which is making me more involved. Like right now on my YouTube channel, I've been doing business features for Christmas. And so I'm just trying to be into the fabric of the community that way. I want to promote other people. I want all the businesses downtown to succeed, because my business is already successful. I feel like I have enough, like I don't really need to grow myself anymore, although I'm happy as we continue to grow every year, I'm happy to do that. It's just not my main focus. My main focus is to try to be a cheerleader for the future of our city. So that's been through DKI, through Habitat, through the church, and then obviously through my business. So.
If you ever became famous, would you move out of Kittanning and go somewhere more populated like Pittsburgh or Philly?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Probably not Pittsburgh or Philly. I don't anticipate ever leaving, I'll just say that. That being said, I don't know what God has for me. I don't know what that's going to lead to ultimately. I think it would be really cool if we could kind of complete this turnaround of Kittanning, so in the next 10 years, Kittanning really is deemed the greatest city in the world, or that it really is economically vibrant, and that things aren't so negative here, that we're really on a positive track. At that point, it would be really cool if I had 500 videos that showed, hey, here's from step 1 to step 500, how you can change and turn around a city. And then we just found another city that was really economically depressed and went there and said, hey, this is going to be the next Kittanning, Pennsylvania. Because we have a really cool story to tell about how a city can really turn around and how a city can be vibrant again. So I could see something like that happening. Obviously from a church planning perspective, I could see planning another church again in a different city or in a different state. But I don't want to leave here. I really love it here, so I'm planning to stay, no matter how many subscribers I get or how famous I become, which probably won't be very famous.
Would you recommend YouTube to...
Oh, wow. 1,000 subscribers, my friends. 1,000 subscribers.
He has officially hit 1,000 subscribers on air.
Look at this. Wow. What an accomplishment. Thanks, Kittanning. Thanks, Armstrong High School. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. I was 14 short when I came here today, but evidently we have made it. So I feel official now. And now I can start rolling in that serious YouTube money. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh! Big guy.
That's really cool. Thank you, guys. So they're asking me, how does it feel to have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube? It is absolutely insane. When I started this thing, I thought really, if I could reach 100 people, if I had 100 subscribers in Kittanning and we could kind of create a coalition and create an army to change the city, I thought, how cool would that be if I could get 100? And then over the course of the summer, it was like, oh, I got 300, and I got 500, and it just kept building and building. And here we are at 1,000, and it's like, that's huge. I mean, that's a huge part of the city of Kittanning. And it's only just beginning. It's only been a year, and I'm not planning to stop anytime soon. So it feels amazing that it's actually working, that it's actually growing, and I'm so excited for the future of our city.
Would you recommend starting a YouTube channel to anyone else in the community? Why or why not?
Yeah, I would absolutely recommend starting a YouTube channel. I wouldn't recommend it to become famous. We talked about a little bit about before we started the show that when I was growing up, everyone wanted to be an NFL football player. I was convinced I was going to be the next player on the Dallas Cowboys, and I was going to, win Super Bowls. But that did not happen, obviously. I'm 5'6" and 150 pounds. My NFL future was not very bright. And so for me to pursue that dream would have been foolish, right? From a YouTube perspective, I think if you love doing videos and you love the idea of being a YouTube creator, you should absolutely do it. But don't do it with the intention of becoming big or making it into a career. If that happens for you, that's awesome. But I just wouldn't do it for that reason. I think the reason to do it is, number one, to document your life. I think right now it's so easy to just document everything that you're doing. It's going to be really valuable for you 10 years from now to be able to go back to this interview and see the first thing that you did on video and say, that's where I started and that's where I am now. And you think about when you have kids or when you get married or when you graduate college, all those thoughts that you think should be documented. And so you should take that seriously, document your life, and just start there. I think that's so valuable, not only for you personally, but for the city and for your family and for your great-great-grandkids someday will be able to watch you on YouTube and be like, how cool is that? I can watch my great-great-grandfather. Like if my great-great-grandfather was on YouTube, I'd be watching those videos every single night. I'd be like the coolest thing ever to watch them go through the Great Depression or what my family was doing during the Civil War or all those different things. And we have the opportunity now to do that for free. It's amazing. So I would definitely do that. And then number two, I'd start a YouTube channel to be transformative, to transform the world around you. So whether that's your city or your school, like you guys should have vloggers in Armstrong High School. Like some kid that wants to be just a positive force in the school, that wants to go against bullying or that wants to go against, all the other negative things that you guys encounter on a daily basis. There should be someone that's doing that on a daily or weekly basis or whatever that looks like. Or maybe your school channel here, maybe you get 5 different vloggers and you just assign them different days of the week and assign them different topics and they go around the school and make a video about that. I think that would be absolutely incredible, and it would change not only potentially your school, but that would spread throughout the district, and then that idea would spread throughout Pennsylvania and the United States. And I think if everyone was doing that, just to be positive in a way that people are going to see it all the time, what an incredible idea. And so yeah, you should start a YouTube video or YouTube channel, and there should be multiple people in this studio and multiple people in this school that should do it as well.
Well, that's our show today. Thank all of you for taking your time out of your busy schedule to join us. Our thanks also go out to the TV production students of Armstrong High School, led by the teacher, Mr. Donald Swanson. They are our film crew. Please join us again next week for another look at Armstrong School District. DVD copies of this Education Today programming can be requested by contacting Chris Garatano, multimedia technician at Armstrong High School. Visit our website for uploaded information about the district, and have a great week. And thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
He's got 1,000 more subs than me now.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks, guys. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
Congrats.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting me be a part of it.
2002.
2002?
Yeah, you exceeded.
My glasses.
That was like the best episode.
Our last one was like 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
You've been a great guest. Thank you
Yeah,
for
thank
coming.
you.